All right, for my next little project here during our Little Moments Story Play week, I have been taking pictures. This is the prompt, this is the invitation. I've been taking pictures of holding things in my hands, and it started off just thinking I've done stories in the past that were talking about, what my hands do and the, who what are the things my hands hold, or more related to things like making things and holding kids' hands and stuff like that. So that's one way that I've used this kind of prompt before. This time, as I was thinking about it in the context of Little Moments, and as I was looking at the pieces that were included in the mini kit, I started thinking about the idea of just taking pictures of me holding things in my hands. Very basic things, right? Just even as I was picking stuff up here around the house, things that I encounter regularly or things that are pieces of my life right now, that is what I decided to do. So that is the project, and that's the invitation to you. It's fun, I think, to do it over the course of a couple days or a little bit of time where you end up with a variety of different things. I really had fun just kind of keeping it in the back of my mind as I went about the course of my last week or so. What I decided to do with mine is I'm taking this journaling card, which is one of the ones in the kit, as a jumping off point, and I'm using the top little portion here. And what I ended up doing for you guys is I have saved this as a PNG, just this top little part. So if you wanted to print that out and add it onto your photos, you could. I'm going to be trimming mine out. I just printed them on a bigger piece of paper. I added them to the bottom of each of my 3x4 photos. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them because I want to put them in 3x4 pockets to create a spread. In addition to the PNG of this, or the JPEG of this, I also did a PSD file so that you can just layer a photo behind it, and then you can add your journaling, which is what I did on mine. I just wanted to be able to type up little pieces of each of these stories. So let's take a look at the things I have. So I have my Kindle. That's something that I hold in my hands. I have my favorite little pair of socks. I have a pen. I have the candy that I like to eat. I have a little story about gum, the oranges that I'm loving again right now. And then I also have the toilet paper roll because no kids here seem to remember to refill the toilet paper roll. So I like looking at really basic everyday things like that. I also created a title card for you that you can print out. This is available as a JPEG. This one that I did has like a kind of a light lavender background with a little bit of textured repeated words on the background. Might be hard to see in the image there. So you can print it out just like this. I printed mine on photo paper, or I also have just the word art there as a PNG that you could put on a different kind of pattern paper background. So mine is going to come together fairly quickly. I wanted to show you guys one of the things that I liked as I was looking back at the different stories that I've told this year in my little story play album using the 4 mini kits. One of them was this one where I did imperfect photos, and I really loved just seeing the spread like this. It's very basic, it's very simple, and so this was a little bit of the jumping off point for doing this something similar with this particular kit. And actually, as I looked back through here, I've done some similar things for the different kits. I've got the vellum with something right on the middle. I've got lots of little pictures. Those were some of the other ones. We did the day in the life earlier in the year with the colors. That was also super fun. Here's the photo ones. I just thought it'd be fun to flip through these. All of the projects that I've done this year for the story play kits have been pretty straightforward, right? And definitely words and photos heavy. And I've loved using the pattern papers like this one to be holding places for my story, right? To be able to place that inside. This was another one that was fun with the photos. This is just one that I have in there to add something to. But here's this spread. Again, this was the imperfect photos tell stories. So I'm going to use this and put in another of the 4 pocket 3x4s to hold the story that I'm telling today. There was another one, see where it's got the photo right on top of the transparency. And then here were some of the ones from Facts and Feelings. I really just liked looking back at these. This was a fun I think a fun way to approach some of my storytelling for this year. And here's the one from earlier this week. And yeah. Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do is essentially, this one's not going to have a lot of things happening here, but it's what I am going to do is I'm going to be cutting them out and placing them into the page protector pockets. I'm also considering adding the tab stickers to the top of these photos so they would stick out. These tab stickers, these guys right here. I thought that might be kind of fun to have them out the top. If I do that, then I will need to cut some slits in here, and I'll show you how I do that as I go along. All right, let's dive in. As we dive into this one, I just wanted to give you a quick little tutorial in case you needed it on how to use this PSD file if you have Photoshop or Photoshop Elements. In the digital package that you can download on the blog post today, there is, let's see, let me get these downloaded. There's this one as a PNG that can just be added right onto a 3x4 photo. You could print out multiples of these. There's lots of options. This is the PSD file. I'm going to show you how to use that. I have the title card there. This is exactly the same one that I use that I printed on the 3x4 or 4x6 paper that I cut out to 3x4. And then here is that same version that is a PNG that you could put on any kind of background. So what I have open right here is just the PSD file. In case you've never worked with a layered file, you need to bring your attention over to here. I've got 3 separate layers. I have the text layer right there that says add your story here. I have the journal section, which is that part, and then I have the background, which is available for you to add a photo. Let's go over here and we'll just grab a photo. Here's one of my Christmas tree. Let's pretend that that's what I'm using there. I'm essentially I have it on my desktop. I'm actually just going to place it right in here, and then you can see that I can move it around right behind that and then have my journaling underneath there. So let's come over here. Let's grab the text tool. Then you can come in here and you can change this to be whatever font or size you want. It's not going to be very big. My font size is pretty small. It's 9-point on mine. There's not a ton of space there, so you could just add, a sentence or a few thoughts added in there, and then you can print these out to have the same overall look as you've seen on my project. All right, let's go back to my table. All right, over on my table, this project starts with trimming out all of my 3x4 photo and journaling cards. I went ahead and actually added all of those onto a 13x19 piece of photo paper, or a 13x19 canvas in Photoshop, and then printed them out all together. You can do 2 on a 4x6. You can print them out individually. There's lots of different ways that you can do that. Once I had those all trimmed out, then I organized them across the spread of 2 page protectors with those 3x4 pockets. And then I decided that I absolutely did want to add the tab labels or tab stickers to the top. For these ones, what I decided to do was simply fold them over, and then I'm going to use my tiny attacher to staple them in place just in the middle of each of those or each of the cards there. I don't end up adding a tab sticker to my title card, to my In My Hands card, but you can absolutely do that if you wanted to as well. So as you can see there, I'm simply folding them over. You could, stick them on there if you wanted to and you didn't want to use a stapler. That would also be an option. I just liked having them tucked behind. I also used a rolling date stamp to add my date onto the top of my printed title card there. And then here's where I cut slits. I actually did, they're fairly big slits right below the seam of the page protectors, because with the page protectors you are adding in the photos there, the 3x4 cards, you're adding them on one side, and normally you wouldn't have a space there for the little tab to stick up. But if you cut a slit in there, then you're able to poke the tab through the back side and have that stick out on the correct side that I want to be on. You can see I just pull it back a little bit there with my hands, and I like how that looks. You can do that for, anytime you want to add tags or any other, interactive sort of embellishment too. You still do need to be aware of the seams. You don't want to cut them completely or you will lose the integrity of the pockets. As always, let me know if you guys have questions in the comments below. I loved how this one came together. Hope to see what things look like in your hands.